Britain in the 1960s was a nation buzzing with fierce automotive ambition. New factories, bold designs, and revolutionary engineering promised British families the car of the future. But behind gleaming showroom windows and polished advertisements, something was going catastrophically wrong. Engines overheated. Bodywork dissolved into rust within months. Gearboxes seized without warning. Ordinary British families paid a devastating price every single morning. Today on Britain Rewind, we are counting down 10 cars that damaged reputations, destroyed buyer confidence, and in some cases, nearly broke entire manufacturers. These were the 10 worst British family cars of the 1960s. And number 1 genuinely shocked the nation. Now let's start our countdown with number 10. Number 10, Vauxhall Viva HA. When Vauxhall unveiled the Viva HA in 1963, there was genuine excitement across Britain. Here was a compact, modern family saloon, clean lines, fresh styling, and a price that put it within reach of working families everywhere. The brochures made it look completely irresistible. But owning one told a very different story. The Viva HA's 1057cc engine was dangerously underpowered for a family of 4, struggling on any incline that dared interrupt a Sunday drive. Vibration was constant and relentless. The interior rattled from the very moment you left the forecourt. And then came the rust. Within 2 years, Viva bodywork was literally dissolving, door sills, wheel arches, floor pans, all crumbling away in the harsh British climate. Can you imagine discovering holes in your floor on a wet November morning? Vauxhall dealers were overwhelmed with complaints. Confidence in the car collapsed almost as quickly as the metalwork itself. But believe it or not, the car at number 9 was considerably more humiliating. Number 9, Morris Oxford Series 6. Morris launched the Oxford Series 6 in 1961 with genuine expectations of solid, dependable family motoring. It was a big, upright saloon that looked professional and respectable enough on paper. Underneath, however, it was essentially a warmed-over design from the mid-1950s, heavy, lumbering, and fundamentally outdated the moment it reached the showroom floor. The 1489cc BMC B-Series engine produced a modest 55 horsepower, making overtaking a genuinely terrifying experience on any major road. The suspension was archaic, the steering heavy, and the body simply could not cope with British winters. Rust crept in through inadequately sealed panels, spreading silently through sill sections and boot floors. Owners who had expected comfort received vibration. Owners who expected reliability received lengthy dealer visits instead. The Morris Oxford promised tradition but delivered exhaustion. It wasn't spectacular enough to excite anyone, yet it somehow broke down just often enough to infuriate everyone who bought one. And the car at number 8, however, was actively embarrassing to be seen driving. Number 8, Singer Shamois. The Singer Shamois arrived in 1964 wearing all the badges of a premium family car. Roots Group positioned it above the Hillman range, giving it wood-effect trim, upgraded seats, and a respectable price tag that suggested genuine quality. Beneath that polished surface, however, the Shamois shared its entire mechanical structure with the notoriously troubled Hillman Imp, and every single one of its problems came along for the ride. The rear-mounted 875cc Coventry Climax engine ran dangerously hot in everyday driving, and the aluminium cylinder head warped with alarming regularity. Coolant disappeared without explanation. Throttle cables snapped. The gear change was vague and the rear suspension geometry actively encouraged oversteer that most family drivers were completely unprepared for. Families who paid premium money for a premium badge discovered they had purchased exactly the same disaster in a slightly better jacket. What happened next completely shattered their confidence. And number 7? Number 7 promised something far grander and ultimately delivered something far worse. Number 7, Wolseley 1660. The Wolseley 1660 carried a name steeped in British motoring tradition. Launched in 1961 as the prestige version of BMC's popular Farina range, it promised walnut dashboards, leather seating, and refined family travel that felt genuinely aspirational. The illusion was convincing right up until reality arrived. Like many BMC products of the era, the 1660 shared its underpinnings with several cheaper siblings, and the shared platform brought shared problems in abundance. The 1622cc B-series engine was chronically prone to oil leaks, particularly around the valve cover gaskets. Head gaskets failed with distressing frequency in town traffic. The monocoque body, beautifully styled on the outside, was poorly protected underneath, and British salt roads ate through the floor pans within a few short years. Prestige buyers who expected Wolseley quality found themselves making the same embarrassing repair visits as Morris owners. The prestigious badge meant nothing. The disappointment was complete. And the car at number 6 will make you seriously question British manufacturing standards entirely. Number 6, Standard Ensign. By 1962, the Standard Ensign was already a depressing anachronism. Standard Triumph built it as a budget family workhorse, practical, affordable, and completely devoid of excitement. That might have been forgivable. What was genuinely unforgivable was how poorly it was constructed for the asking price. The underpowered 4-cylinder engine produced just 55 horsepower, making it sluggish even against modest family rivals of the era. But power output was the least of its problems. The Ensign suffered from notably poor paint quality that began lifting within months of purchase, accompanied by rust that seemed almost premeditated in its speed and aggression. The interior was deeply gloomy, the driving position awkward, and reliability on longer journeys was frankly poor. Dealers struggled to defend it against newer competition. Many quietly admitted they were embarrassed to stock it. The Standard Ensign was a car that had already completely given up on its driver. And number 5? Number 5 was an entirely different kind of disaster. Number 5, Triumph Herald 1360. The Triumph Herald arrived in the late 1950s, but its 1360 variant soldiered on deep into the 1960s as a supposed mainstream family option. The promise was enticing: separate chassis construction, full turning circle, stylish Italian-influenced Michelotti bodywork. On paper, it looked modern. Behind the wheel, the reality was far more sobering. The 1296cc engine delivered reasonable enough performance in isolation, but the Herald's handling was its most alarming characteristic. Rear swing axle suspension created a terrifying instability at higher speeds. The rear of the car would suddenly and unpredictably step out, catching inexperienced drivers completely off guard. Contemporary road testers described the handling as genuinely dangerous in certain conditions. Add persistent electrical gremlins courtesy of Lucas Components, combined with bodywork that aged catastrophically in damp British conditions, and the Herald's charm rapidly evaporated. Families discovered too late that a pretty face concealed serious engineering compromises. And the car at number 4 was about to demonstrate that Standard Triumph hadn't learned a single lesson. Number 4, Austin A60 Cambridge. The Austin A60 Cambridge launched in 1961 as the updated face of BMC's trusted family saloon range. It carried familiar Pininfarina styling, a roomy interior, and the kind of solid British reputation that reassured buyers at dealerships across the country. The illusion of competence was convincing. Underneath, however, the A60 carried forward almost every flaw of its predecessor with near miraculous consistency. The 1622cc B-series engine suffered from persistent overheating issues when driven hard in summer traffic, with thermostat failures frustratingly common. Electrical wiring was a particular menace. Lucas Electrics of the era were notoriously temperamental, and the A60 embodied every cliché. Indicators failed. Headlights flickered on wet evenings. Interior water ingress was a chronic complaint, with poorly sealed window rubbers allowing rain to saturate carpets and accelerate floor pan corrosion. Most owners experienced at least one breakdown within the first 18 months. Would you have trusted this with your family? And the car at number 3 made the A60 look like sheer engineering perfection. Number 3, Humber Sceptre. When the Humber Sceptre arrived in 1963, Roots Group presented it as a refined, executive-level family car, a vehicle that rewarded success, promised reliability, and delivered the kind of assured motoring that professional families deserved. The stark reality was utterly devastating. Built on the aging Hillman Super Minx platform, the Sceptre was essentially a heavily disguised budget car wearing expensive clothes. The 1592cc engine suffered from persistent valve timing issues that became expensive nightmares as mileage accumulated. Water leaks around the windscreen were chronic, and no amount of dealer attention appeared to cure them permanently. The wood veneer dashboard, the Sceptre's proudest selling point, bubbled and lifted within 18 months as moisture found its way behind the fascia. Buyers who had stretched their finances considerably to afford this car felt humiliated. Roots Group had sold them a dream. What arrived on their driveways was something considerably closer to a waking nightmare. And number 2? That story shook the whole industry. Number 2, Hillman Imp. The Hillman Imp of 1963 stands as one of the most courageous engineering projects in British automotive history, and one of the most catastrophic in execution. Developed by Roots Group as a rival to the mighty Mini, it featured a rear-mounted 875cc aluminium Coventry Climax engine, a tilting rear window replacing the conventional boot, and a mechanical sophistication that looked impressive on paper. But the Imp was developed and rushed to market in under 3 years, and the consequences were immediate. Overheating was endemic. The aluminium cylinder heads warped with terrifying regularity, the needle valve in the carburetor stuck constantly, and the automatic choke failed in cold weather. The new Linwood factory in Scotland, built hurriedly and staffed by workers without automotive experience, produced build quality that was frankly appalling. Within months, the Imp's reputation had collapsed. Roots never fully recovered. Most British families quietly chose a Mini instead. Who could blame them? But the car at number 1 destroyed a manufacturer entirely. Number 1, Austin Maxi. At last, number 1. The car that didn't just disappoint, it embarrassed an entire nation. In 1969, British Leyland unveiled the Austin Maxi with extraordinary fanfare. Here was Britain's answer to the modern European hatchback, a 5-door family car featuring fold-flat seats, a new overhead camshaft 1485cc E-Series engine, and front-wheel drive packaging that genuinely should have defined a generation. Should have. The reality of the Austin Maxi was nothing short of scandalous. The gear linkage, a cable-operated system, was so extraordinarily vague and imprecise at launch that journalists struggled to select gears at all. Owners described it as stirring cold porridge with a wooden spoon. British Leyland was forced to modify thousands of cars post-sale, an unprecedented admission of catastrophic failure. The new E-Series engine burned oil alarmingly. Interior build quality was embarrassing for any price point. Water leaks were constant. The car designed to conquer Europe became Britain's greatest automotive humiliation of the decade. And Britain never forgot it. The 1960s should have been Britain's automotive golden age. The ambition was real. The talent existed. But factory pressures, rushed development cycles, and a stubborn resistance to learning from mistakes left a trail of broken-down family cars across the length of this nation. Each vehicle on this list represents not just a mechanical failure, but a broken promise made to ordinary families who simply wanted reliable, honest transport. If today's journey through Britain's most troubled motoring era brought back memories, good or bad, leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to Britain Rewind yet, now is the time.